Good morning to everybody for our Mums at Work networking event. Today we have got Catriona Jones, who is a coach, and she's going to talk to us today about money mindset for women. You're very welcome here today, Catriona.
Great, thank you, Sinead. It is lovely to be here and to join you this morning. And I'm always super excited to talk about money. Who doesn't want to have more money in their life, which makes my job much easier? So my name is Catriona Jones. My background is in teaching. I was a primary school teacher for a number of years and transitioned out of that when I suffered overwhelm and discontentment and wasn't in a very happy place after I had our second child. And I wanted something bigger out of life. So I trained as a life coach about 14 years ago. My work is steeped in the philosophy of Louise Hay. I trained with the School of Louise Hay, and I kind of came into the whole money teaching because I find with the clients that I work mainly with women. I'm super passionate about working with women because I come from a long family of women that didn't live their full life, and I talk about that in my new book, Bloom Girl, about patriarchy. So I'm super lit up about encouraging women to live their best life because we have been kept down. We do play small, but the feminine energy is really rising now once and for all. So I work with women, and what I have discovered over my years of teaching and coaching is that very often women have a challenge in one of two areas, and it's usually money or men. And I know that journey because the younger version of me, the single me in London teaching years ago, I thought I was never going to find a man. And so I was just desperately, I can remember reading Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, and I thought, it's never going to happen for me. I even applied to go on blind date, and I didn't get on there. So you can imagine the vibrations I was sending out. I was like totally out of whack in terms of alignment. I didn't know anything about law of attraction then. So anyway, I obviously managed to sort that piece out because I'm happily married to my soulmate, and our relationship does get better and better every day. Last night we were swimming in the sea, at 8:30 last night. It was just divine. So, and I've worked, that's been a lot of work. And if you have Bloom Girl or read Bloom Girl, you'll learn a little bit about my journey. So, sometimes people think this work is a bit fluffy, and I can tell you my work is a combination of the deep inner healing, transformational work, owning your story, stepping into your story and healing the past and claiming your power. And I suppose the teacher in me loves purpose because I know, you can see there now Lisa's wee boy. When you look at a baby and a child, you just know we all arrived into the world as little girls, perfect, whole and complete, with a gift to rock out into the world in the most effortless way. When I was teaching in the classroom, I hated those labels that we had to give children. I hated putting them into ability groups, and especially when we had our own daughter who's now 15 and she was dyslexic. It ripped my heart out, labeling and putting people and restricting, and our system just sucked the soul out of me. So that takes me into, how did I start talking about money? So when I gave up teaching and I transitioned out of teaching because I hit a rock bottom and I said, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to turn my life around. I'm sick listening to me. I said, and I actually compromised because I said to myself, if I can earn my teacher's salary, I'll be more than happy to work for myself. Now, at that point, I was in a good place in the scale. I don't know what the teaching scale is now because it's 14 years ago. But at that point, I was earning £500 a week, which was a great salary when we were living in a village in Wales. And, I was a senior teacher and all that. But I capped myself at that amount. So every time in the past, as an entrepreneur, when I had the shop and I was doing different things, I wouldn't get past that. But I also noticed I wouldn't get past my husband's income as well. So I started getting really frustrated with my own money story. And I noticed that I would pay everybody else. It was almost like I was self-sabotaging because my work was more effortless. I loved my work. I wasn't coming home stressed because the program had taught me, you've got to work hard. You've got to work hard, and you've really got to be at the grindstone and sweating to earn a good day's pay and to be deserving of that. So that exchange was happening quite easily for me, but I was sabotaging me receiving the money and stepping into my power as a woman. And therefore, because I love to learn, our house is full of books, and you'll hear me talking about Tony Robbins, and then I'll be way off and with Peggy McCall for a few months, and then I'll be like, Gina DeVee, eat your heart out. And I love to learn, and I love the best that there is out there, because I just think we all deserve the best. And I love talking about money because I love opulence, and money is an amazing tool. So here's what I want to share today. And I know we hear these things, again, but we do need to hear them repeatedly to have a wee aha moment or a realization. My work is also very spiritual. It's not religious, but it's very spiritual. We have to remember that we're more than this body. We're more than the mind, and the mind can drive us crazy. But there's a deeper part in every one of us that is unlimited. That light that we see in the whites of the eye of the baby, and those beautiful toddlers that don't know how to walk, they just want to skip and play and have fun. That is our true natural essence. Our natural state is happiness. And when we connect with that spiritual essence within, we really connect to our brilliance and to abundance, which is our birthright. And abundance, however we want it to be, it's different for all of us. For my husband, it's sitting in the garden with a cup of tea with the dog. For me, I'm out in San Diego. I want Frankie and Grace, what do you call them? I want a beach house in San Diego. That's my visualization. So it's different for all of us because we all have different personalities. But we are entitled to live that beautiful life. So the reason I mentioned that is we are energy. And everything is energy. And that is the scientific side of things. That is the law of attraction. That is what The Secret was talking about. So if we know that everything is energy, the more present we are, we can connect with the energy around us. So, for example, my book holds energy, right? My book holds energy. This water holds energy. How we respond to our home and the rooms that we're in. Do you ever walk into a hotel room and go, oh, it feels a bit stuffy here? The chances are a couple were in there and had a good row before you came in, So understanding that we're energy and everything is energy and everything holds energy, we get then to take responsibility for the energy that we bring to a space. How are we showing up in our businesses? And what is that feed? Whether it's on video, whether it's in a post, that energy is invisible and can be felt. And money is energy. Money is a tool and it's an exchange. There's a transaction in everything we do. So every conversation we have, there is a transactional piece in it. And I think when we come into a place of acceptance that we are energy, everything is energy, there's unlimited energy available, and everything is an exchange and a transaction. And then we get to ask ourselves, what is my offering? What am I giving and asking for in exchange? And making sure it's a right fit for you, that it sits well with you. How am I showing up? I saw somebody put a post, and I must go back and respond to it because I was thinking about it, and they were saying, what do you look for in a personal fitness trainer? Or what would you look for in a coach? Or what would you look for in a social media manager? Or what would you look for? And here's what I would look for. I'm looking for somebody who's on a higher frequency than me, physically, mentally, and emotionally and spiritually. That is the components of who we are. So we're talking about the energy that we have. And when we are aware of where we're at, and it's okay to be where we're at because we're all growing and we know humans want to grow, then we can bring anybody with us that are at a lower frequency, not judging them, but, you know, come on, I know my nutrition isn't going to be in the top 5 of the mum's net, but there are going to be women there that could teach me to do that. So the reason I talk about this is because the nature of this script, that it's women in business who love what they do. How can we not be asking for a good, worthy exchange for our services? So that's the essence of you know, we've almost taken the money, the dirty word money, out of the room and replaced it with something that is really divine and powerful and unlimited and available and abundant. If you think of, you know, nature reminds us of the essence of energy and life and source. The blades of grass, the trees, the abundance. I love the bloom tree, you know, that pink cherry blossom. And, you know, it's on the sand, the water, it's unlimited. Money is available too. It just needs to move from where it is to where you are. And we look at our money mindset and we ask ourselves, what is my money story? What did I learn as a wee girl growing up about money? Mine was, I mean, was it any wonder? I think the avoidance with the men was like the easy bit. What I was really avoiding was like the harder wound of money, because every row in our house was about money. All my parents communicated about was in forms of arguments about money. And I can own that because, you know what, where I live in Derry, Northern Ireland, there were very few families escaped that. And I own my story. So is it any wonder I didn't talk about money? I didn't take responsibility for money. I just kept spending it until it ran out. I didn't, you know, even today at times, and I'm still working on this, if I buy a new bread and say to my husband, look at this gorgeous new sourdough bread, you know, back to the nutrition, and he would say, oh, how much was it? And that's a good question, because we don't want to be going around, you know, being tight and have that scarcity about it, but being aware as women how much the bills are, taking responsibility was a huge step for me. A huge step for me. So we're curious about this energy, we're curious about our story, and then we think, well, what is the new belief that we need to have? What is the belief that is limiting me making more money in my business? And what is the new belief that I have to have? So we're reframing to turn the story around. So for example, one of mine was, like, it's not money is the root of all evil, but money certainly was nothing but bother and trouble, and don't talk about it. You know, it caused a lot of emotional pain. And reframing that and healing that story and saying, money is a tool. Money to me is freedom. Money for me is showing up as the best version, the most loving wife that I can be, a mother who can, you know, nurture our children and give them opportunities. We have a daughter who loves anything with a tail. She is so her own person, loves horse riding. You know, she's so unique and different to me and her own individual personality. Like, I want to be able to provide for her. My husband sometimes says, oh, we're not horse people. And I said, I don't care. If she wants a horse, she's having a horse. That is what I want to do, is to empower her. I'm not wanting her to do something that's not in her essence. And that brings us into the why. The other thing I know about this work and turning your money story around and getting that positive mindset, we have to understand why we want more money. Money goes to where there's a purpose. We have to build, as Tony Robbins would say, the leverage. You know, a few years ago, when we moved back 10 years ago to Ireland, we were very comfortable. I didn't have to work. So, you know, whether I increased my income, just that was probably why I was just coasting, not really taking it serious, until I connected with my why. Why do I want more money? Why is it so important for me to up-level my life? And my why is to really serve my inner child that suffered many wounds, to serve and raise our children up to the best version, and to heal the woman that went before me, and serve as many other women in the world to remember the truth about who we really are. I know where emotional pain can take us. I know those dark nights of the soul, but I also know what happens when we turn our thinking around and we choose a new belief. Money is a beautiful divine gift for us, a tool. It is abundant, it is available, it is super sexy. We have so much fun in the Money Mindset group and the Rich Biz Besties, you know, getting intimate with money, looking at our relationship with money. How do we talk about money? If money came into the room now with us, you know, and we said, well, what does Julietta think about you? Or what is Lisa? They go, oh, she's very good, or she's always giving out, or, you know, getting into that energy of seeing it as energy, seeing it as a relationship, seeing it as, you know, any relationship may need a bit of work on it, and our own money story. And it's the same for many of us, because money has had a bad name for a long time. And it was kind of like the man's responsibility to be the breadwinner and take care of the bills. So I think really it is the mindset work. We know that any transformation is 80% mindset and 20% strategy. And we can get ourselves into a muddle as female entrepreneurs about what am I going to do next? What am I going to say? What am I going to do? And really, we want to do that mindset piece on where are my beliefs at? What do I believe about money and why do I have them? And then the bottom line for all of this work is to believe more in ourselves, to get to know ourselves and be our true authentic self. And in that self-belief, I would say that the biggest piece of work that I continue to work on today is deservability. Because each time we want to raise our money frequency and our vibration, we're going to be challenged with the critical voice and the saboteur, and working on our deservability to take our place in the world.